Next on, please welcome Yoichiro Okada, Senior Program Manager, Windows and the Device Group, who will discuss Windows 10's introduction. Let's welcome Yoichiro.
Thank you and good morning. My name is Yoichiro Okada, and thank you for having me here, and also thank you for spending your time here this morning on the WinHEC. So next 60 minutes, I will explain what is the Windows 10s. So hopefully after this session, you will get the sense of, hey, what is the Windows 10s, how it works, and how you can join this game. So first slide, actually I want to change this background. So this is a Windows 10s background, which is, we created this for the branding purpose. So you will see the new Windows 10s device, we have this background. So this is a little bit different than the Windows 10. So I just love this background, so that is why I just want to show you. So this slide, Robot DI, Robot already explained this, but we want to change the people from the just using the Windows to loving Windows. And then Windows 10s, we explained, Robot also explained this slide explaining, this is the Windows you know. So this Windows 10s is a Windows you already know, and streamlined for security and then superior performance. The other day, actually my son had some issue on his PC, his laptop, and asked me to fix. And I found he wanted to try to install a game, one game. But to download the game, he need to click 5 times because the download the page is very complicated. So he doesn't know which link is the right link. And I think everybody kind of experienced the same way. So he actually clicked 5 times. It means he need to, he installed a full application which he doesn't want to have. And this application, one application actually called System Improver, which obviously it doesn't improve the system at all. So it's just kind of getting the bad performance from the system. So I found these applications register by themselves into the startup, which make systems slower. And also, every login, these 2 applications showing the message to user, which say, downloading the update, checking the system, which actually that makes my son worry about. So I think that this room here, everybody is kind of the geek person. I shouldn't say geek, maybe the professional technology person, high-tech person. So same as me. So I actually clean the application, remove the application. Some application I cannot just remove. I need to go into registry key to remove some item. So after that, actually I gave the clean system to my son, and then he said, sorry, Dad. I just realized, so why my son need to say sorry to me? So he's very smart kid, and actually he need to learn how he can try to avoid this kind of risk area, but at the same time, why Windows cannot protect this situation. So Windows should be able to do more job, more work to protect the user, and then I believe Windows 10s is one of the solutions for this. So Windows 10s, every application should come from store. So this means every application Microsoft verified. So Microsoft knows the application works well and the user can use. So that is a Windows 10s, and that is why we believe this will be reduce the security concern, and also this will be getting the performance. And the performance, first day performance will be 100 days performance, 200 days, 360 days, it's the same performance. Windows 10s, I already explained, verified application from store. So every application should come from store. And also the verified driver from the Windows Update. So every driver should come from the Windows Update, and then we ask OEM partner to upload the driver to Windows Update. And we also ask the IGB partner, OEM partner. Windows 10s support the AAD, and when paired with MSA or Intune for education, default to files in the OneDrive. And then Robot actually quickly touched this item, but we know there's some application or some user really need to use a Win32 application, which not come from Windows Store. In that case, user can switch to Windows 10S to Windows Pro very easily. So I will give you the demo for how this is easily to occur, and then you will be able to see how it's quickly done. And the user can use their application like, for example, video editing. So Windows Store has a great video editing application, but some professional user want to use their Win32 application to editing the video. Or we also know there's some accessibility scenario that you want to use the Win32 application. And then finally, this is the Windows you know. So Windows you know mean it works Cortana, Touch, Ink, and then also the face authentication, Windows Hello face authentication, or Windows Hello fingerprint. So it's just Windows. And then adding additional security layer to protect the user from the security concern and the performance concern. Here's the Windows 10 configuration. So I just want to ask you to quickly see what is the difference in Windows 10S and Home and Pro. So you will notice there's not much difference between the Windows 10S and the Windows 10 Pro. Only two items at the top. So first one is a non-store application, which I already explained. And second one is a legacy domain join is not supported on Windows 10S. But other than that, this is almost same. And also the last item is a switch to Windows 10 Pro. So obviously the Pro is Pro, so they don't need to have a switch to Pro. But that's a difference. And this one is actually we explained this at the last month to the event, where we introduced this Windows 10S. So we introduced the school can switch the Windows 10 Pro from Windows 10 Pro to Windows 10S. So if they have a G9 Windows 10 Pro system, so we will actually no additional cost. The education customer can try the Windows 10S. So this means they don't need to worry about which I should use. So they can start the testing Windows 10S if they have a Windows Pro system, Windows 10 Pro system. And this slide also the robot explains the Office in the Windows Store. So it's the same Office, but a different way to deliver to user. So it's from the store. Actually, this store Office application using the Sentinel the technology, which actually it's not so easy work, but anyway. So because Office is so complicated, but anyway. So this is a Sentinel Win32 application can move to Windows Store, and only way to get the Office in a Windows 10S because Windows 10S Win32 Office doesn't work. So this is the only way for user to get the Office. And then this is a full Windows. It's not the compact version or some different version. It's the same Windows, same Office. And this will be a preview between June and October, from now to October, and open to Windows 10S user and then Windows Insider users from the summer this year. So when is it available? So we will let you know when this is available, and then you will be able to try through the Windows Insider. And there's one other question, which is OEM licensing, which is sometimes we have OEM licensing on the Office side. So we will be able to explain this later, and then OEM partner, you'll be able to contact to your Microsoft point of contact when it's ready. So let's get into some details of the technology here. So what I explained, the Windows NS is only a Windows Store application, a store application from store, how it works. There's a code integrity policy we call CI policy, which is we actually check the code which really has right certificate on the code itself, executable. So overview of CI policy here. All executable code must be signed with Windows sign, WHCP, Windows Hardware Compatibility Program. We called before that this is the WICO, and or store. These certificates need to be in signed in the executive the code, and all Windows 10 kernel mode driver must be submitted to the Windows Dev Center. This is signed by Microsoft. And Windows 10, we don't load any kernel mode driver, which are not signed by using one of the methods above, meaning the Windows sign, WHCP sign, or store sign. And then if you have any companion software, must be signed using one of these methods. And we strongly encourage you to use a store sign using the HSA WSDA. So we will explain later. And what happens if user try to run an incompatible application? Windows 10 has only run trusted application from the Windows Store. And the policy is enforced in the create process, which very beginning of the process life cycle. And we will check the code integrity check, and then if code that is about to execute is signed with a valid certificate or not. If the signed valid certificate, then it will run. And if not, then it don't run. And in some cases, we will explain the user the recommended application to store, which I will explain to you later. I also want to cover Windows 10's default application configuration. So Inbox app default is email, which is the Microsoft application. Maps and the maps. Music player is group music. And then photo viewer is the photos, and the video player is the movie and TV. These items, user can customize. So user can change after they receive the Windows 10 system, they can change. But web browser and then search default, Bing, user cannot change. This is by default. The Microsoft Edge in Bing is by default, and then it's not customizable by user. I will explain OneDrive. So OneDrive automatically configure for the Microsoft MSA account, Microsoft account, and then user will get the 5 GB storage, standard storage. And Windows Defender is always on and always update. So even Microsoft, some of the Microsoft component is blocked. So the list of the item, list of the Microsoft Inbox code, on the Windows 10s, you cannot run. So if your application or if your driver, firmware, rely on these components, it doesn't work. So you need to make sure you don't have any dependency for these Inbox components. So I want to show you what is a Windows 10s, and then let me move this my demo system here. Yes. So first, I want to show you the Office. So Office, this is actually I'm using this the slide right now. So this is actually the same Office which you have right now. So Office is not the compact version. This is a full version, and then actually this came from store. So like this, and then now we are this page. Yes. And then if user want to run a Win32 application, for example, Adobe Reader, so user will get this message. So this message tells you, for the security and the performance, Windows 10s only runs verified application from a store. And because we know this application is the same application we have on the store, so that is why we guide the user to the application on the store. So if you can, user click this here and get this up, and then this directly link to the Adobe, and the user can download. In some cases, so there's no application on a store, there's such application on a store, then at the time, we will show user this message and ask user, try to find any other application which will do what you want to do. And if user go to the store, it will show the messaging category application. So because we know this is a messaging category application, we will show this the message user, and then user can go to the store, can easily check some other messenger application. I have one more example here, which is iTunes. So iTunes, it's the same message, and then you go to the store, and then result for the music player. It will show them other music players. So last month, we explained iTunes will come Windows Store. So I love the news. So once it's available, we will guide the user directly to iTunes application store. So we will change this page and then allow user to easily go to the store to download. The other point here is that this is actually the security messaging. So now I actually try to run a VB script. And it's shown for security and performance reason, this mode of the Windows only run verified application from the store. So because we know this is a VBS, so we will not show any other application in the store. We just want user, hey, this doesn't work. So that's how we protect the user. And this is additional security layer on the Windows 10 Pro system. So let's see. Now, this is a Windows 10s. You can confirm here, Windows 10s. And also, user can check this system from activation, which show the Windows 10s. And what I explained to you was a switch to Pro. So I want to show the Pro. So there's the multiple way to go this page, to come this page. Actually, I need to show one more page here. So this is a store page, which said a switch to Windows 10 Pro. So there's multiple way to come this store page. One is, this is a setting. So setting, apparent security, and then activation, and then you can see go to store. Or, actually, let's pretend this is some application which user really need to run, such as I explained some scenario like video editing, music editing, or some accessibility feature. So if user see this message here, so still want to install application from outside the store, see how, then it will lead the user to Windows 10, switch to Windows 10 Pro page on the store. So that way, when user want to install some application and the user cannot find out, okay, how I really need to this application, then user can easily go to this store page from the link, from the message. And also that if user know, they can do from here, then user can do go to store and then switch to Windows 10 Pro. When I click install, and then have you saved your files? Yes. Let's go. Hope you work. So this message is saying preparing the switch to Windows 10 Pro. Actually, Windows 10s and Windows 10 Pro is exactly the same binary from the binary point of view. So actually, Windows 10s has additional security layer top of the Windows 10 Pro. So this process, actually the system checking the Windows 10s system and then moving this Windows 10s system to Pro. So that's a very easy process from the kind of background process perspective. So let's see how it takes. I hope it works. Okay, now we're restarting the system and then working update. Actually, when this got shut down and reboot, there's a screen is black. So let's see. I need to tell you what happened in this system. So this system actually reboot, and now I can see the OEM logo page. And then this going to the circle around, and then yes, adding feature, configure the Windows 10 system in Windows 10 Pro, then now Windows 10 Pro. That's an easy process. And then also like I said, this is actually the Windows 10. Windows 10s is Windows 10, Windows what you know. So I can actually using fingerprint to log in the system. And now it comes to Windows 10 Pro. We can confirm this from, let's see, Winbar. Now it's a Windows 10 Pro system here. And setting, activation, Windows 10 Pro. So let's try the script file works or not. Yes, script works. Hello, Windows 10 Pro. So that's how we protect the user. And then if user really want to use a Windows 10 Pro and Win32 code, like a BBS, so then user can do. So that's an easy process. And then that allow user to move to the Windows 10S to Windows 10 Pro. So that's a Windows 10S demo. So let's go back to the slide. Yeah. So app redirect, I already show you this message. But if we know application match, this application is matched to the application in the store, then we will show the message this line. And then if we don't know, or if we don't have the application in the store, we will show this side. So that way the user can easily understand what happened here, and the user can easily find the application in the store. So let's switch gear a little bit and then talk about driver. So sign driver in the Windows 10S. So how driver signing works. So generator security catalog for driver package, and then catalog is WHCP, or the formally we call the WICO sign. And then WHCP signature is append to the PE binary found in the driver package. But I just want to make sure very clear here. So even signed driver could fail CI check. So if any binary in the driver package load a blocked inbox component, right? So we already talked about the blocked inbox component. If driver try to rely on or try to launch the inbox component, it fail. And or exe file, zip file, MSI, or CAV in the driver package extracts any binary that not the WHCP sign, they will fail. And if an exe MSI driver package uses the binary from other source that not the WHCP sign, they will CI check. The CI check will fail. And then Windows 10's driver requirement is already on MSDN side. So you can go to the docs, Microsoft Doc, Windows 10's driver requirement, and then you will be able to see this page. And then this page also has a blocked inbox, the list of the blocked inbox component. But let me explain what content on this page. So driver package must be digitally signed Windows, WCP, formerly WICO, or store, which we already talked about. And companion software must be signed with a Windows Store certificate, which we also talk about. And does not include the exe, zip, MSY, or CAV in the driver package, that extra unsigned binaries, and then driver install using only inf directive. So this is very important point. So you only can use inf directives to install the driver. And the other important point here is the co-installers are used only to install or register signed binary and do not contain any user interface component. But this is until fall creator update. So from fall creator update, you shouldn't rely on the co-installer. So this is kind of until the fall creator update in the start. So we will have some kind of exception to use a co-installer here. But from RS3, that we need to call the fall creators update. So from fall creators update, you shouldn't use the co-installers. And driver does not call blocked inbox component, and driver does not include any user interface component application setting. Instead of use a universal application from Windows Store. For example, HSA, hardware supported application, or WSDA, Windows Store device application, or Sentinel application. So I understand that we will be able to explain details for these items today and tomorrow's sessions. So please join this session and then get more information on how we work. And driver and firmware servicing uses Windows Update, and there should be not an update application. Then finally, we recommend you using the Universal Windows driver where possible. And then there is a link to the related in the document. Also, we have the session today about the Universal driver, Universal Windows driver. So transition to Universal driver, why Universal driver about 2018. So I will not cover this today here, but there's a specialist here to explain to you today and tomorrow. Today we have a session, and then tomorrow we have a workshop. So please join, and then let's get how you can migrate your driver to this new, the future of the driver mechanism, the universal Windows driver. I also want to talk about Windows 10 driver publishing. So this also has a public page which you can check. So I just kind of copy and paste the content here. So sign and publishing. Code integrity policy will block installation of any binary not signed by Microsoft. And Microsoft Legacy UX not allowed. So CPL, control panel, UX, third-party shell extension not allowed. So you cannot use. And then in the Dev Center, there's no change to driver submission for either driver signing or Windows hardware compatibility program. So it's the same. And there's no Windows S specific signing category and not required to resubmit a driver or rerun HLK. So if you have a driver which already works on Windows 10 system, then you can just, actually you need to go in the Dev Center and then you need to check these two checkboxes and then submit. So that's the process that you need to do, and then we will be able to explain details at the driver session today. But to check these two checkboxes, you need to make sure you will check your driver comply Windows 10 S driver requirement. So this is just easy checkbox, but you need to make sure your driver works well on the Windows 10 S using checking every driver Windows 10 S driver requirement, which I just explained. So Windows Update is the seamless servicing mechanism for the Windows 10 S. So please make sure that you will comply Windows 10 S driver requirement and submit this using these two checkboxes through the Windows Update. So I explained a lot about driver signing. So I just want to quickly explain how you can migrate your existing driver. So let's assume you have a driver which like this. So package installer like a setup.exe includes open utility or driver dependent application is a CP control panel applet, co-installer pure driver files. Let's start from here. First, package installers are not supported for Windows 10 S. So that's very first statement that we need to make sure. Package installer is not supported in Windows 10 S. So we should work. First, let's unpackage this. And then let's ask, hey, increase the app or utility here. Obviously, that example has a app and utility. So if this is a utility which is not depend on driver, you need to submit this component to Windows Store as our normal Windows Store application. If the application, like a CP applet, depend on driver, then you need to, this means that your application depends on hardware side. So then we need to ask you to use HSA or WSDA to submit to store. So that's really the clear distinction you need to make. So this is just the application which doesn't depend on the hardware side or depend on the hardware side. And there's a different path you need to make. And then next question is a co-installer. So your application has a co-installer here? If no, fine. Let's just move in this pure driver files to Dev Center, and that's all. Done. You're good to go. But, there's some cases, most of the cases, we have a co-installer here. So if you have a co-installer, then you need to check these items, which we already explained a lot, but I just pick up some important item here. Well, there's a lot of camera here, so good to see. So all driver package and the binary must be WCP, or formerly vehicle sign. And all binary must be delivered in the top level driver package. Do not use nested drivers. Nested binaries. And drivers should be installed using only inf directives. And co-installers may be used only for the purpose of installing or registering signed binary and may not contain any third-party UI. And this point, this is, actually I need to create the build of this slide. So this point, this asterisk here, this is only allowed until for creators update. From for creator updates, you don't need to you cannot use the co-installer. So that's super important point that I want to make sure everyone understands here. And driver binary may not make closed-down supported component blocked by CI policy here. Then, until full creator update come, policy compliant co-installer pure driver files submit to the hardware dev center. But from full creators update, you can use this. You need to use this path. That's the point. Okay, I spent maybe 15 minutes about the driver, and I just want to quickly cover the firmware update for the Windows update. So Win32-based firmware update utility are not supported. So only firmware update capsule is a supported system firmware delivery mechanism. So you need to use the firmware update capsule. We also actually support the driver-based firmware update. Is also supported. So if you want to use a driver-based firmware update, it's capable. It's capable. And actually, we have the MSDN article to explain how you can do UEFI firmware update capsule. So actually, I got the reference on the end of this slide. So I encourage you to check this information to make sure you will move firmware from the. Maybe you use the Win32. Maybe some of the users, some of the developer already use the UEFI, the firmware update capsule. But encourage you to use. Everybody check this UEFI and update capsule. Okay, so I want to cover a deployment overview, which mainly focus on the OEM partner, but also sometimes IHB and ISB partner also involved here. So that is why we want to make sure that we are clear how you can do. So our first deployment, I want to cover the manufacturing scenario. So there's a phase for WinPE, specialized paths, audit mode, sysprep, UBI, desktop, and then recovery scenario here. So script you have, it's enabled until here, UBI. So let me build this here. So if user going to the UBI and code integrity policy enable, so UBI is the first pages for the UBI is okay for you to not do code integrity policy enable. So I will explain a little bit more how. Script is enabled from WinPE to sysprep, and unsigned code enable, and secure boot recommended off, and manufacturing resi key is enabled. So manufacturing resi key is for the Windows 10S. Because the Windows 10S has a CI policy, we actually created this new registry key for the manufacturing scenario. And then we will be able to explain to you the Windows 10S build, which we plan to release the MSDN summer this year. So once the build is available, we will give you what registry key you need to use. So when you have the binary, you will have this registry key, and you will know how it works. So this is kind of the early information for you to understand how you can do the manufacturing scenario. So for now, you can just remember, oh, there's a manufacturing registry key here, and then this key you can use for the manufacturing scenario. So manufacturing registry key, we want to ask you to enable until UBI, and then actually, I will explain the next page and how this UBI screen works. And then after UBI, manufacturing registry key should be disabled, and secure boot should be on, and unsigned code disabled, and the script doesn't work, disabled, because it's a code into CI policy. And when in the recovery scenario, which is script, script, so it's enabled, but we already extensively scripts only. And unsigned code doesn't work. Secure boot should be enabled. And the manufacturing registry key, it's after manufacturing scenario, so it should be disabled. So factor for deployment is a secure boot recommended off, and manufacturing release key enable, and then will be not completed. That's a manufacturing scenario. In the servicing scenario is WinPE and then customer existing Windows 10 That's only two. And WinPE script is enabled. Unsigned code is enabled. But once it's going to the customer experience, the existing Windows 10 it's disabled. And secure boot is always enabled, and then manufacturing release key is not applicable because this is not a manufacturing scenario. So what I explained here is, first, WinPE behave the same way as today, where Win32 unsigned binary are allowed to run with secure boot disabled or enabled. And recovery and the WinRE is third-party recovery solution are not supported. So you need to use a PBL for customer to recover the system. And CMD prompt in WinRE will be supported to run inbox tools only. PBL extensibility script is supported only for the purpose of restoring OEM customization, available via CMD script and apply via CMD script and not call any of the blocked inbox component except the regex and then wmic.exe. And the UBI, fast logon command is not supported. So you can use the fast log command. And the batch file, so only supported if manufacturing release key enabled, and then manufacturing release key must be disabled prior to customer UBI. So that's a scenario actually that I had here. So there's some UBI has some line, and then this here is CI on, CI off and CI on. This is this scenario. If using Shift F10 to validate UBI, and at the time you need to delete manufacturing release key and shut down system. And you also need to turn on secure boot. And then from that point, CI policy is on, and then user can go in the normal UBI screen. That's a kind of user scenario. And one more thing I want to call out here is a compatibility program for Windows 10 At this time, the Windows 10 hardware compatibility program does not have a program for Windows 10 So we need to ask you to use the HLK for Windows 10, use the latest Windows 10 HLK to validate compatibility. For the future, we plan to create Windows 10 HLK testing and to help partner validate compliance with Windows 10 And then driver submission process, we have a checks on driver compliance, which I explained the previous slide, maybe 2, 4, 5 slides before. So there's right now, you can only check box, you need to really check the compliance on the Windows 10 but this is basically the manual process. You can check box 2 checkboxes, and then that's done. But for the future, we want to have a driver submission process to actually validate the driver and make sure this is a check for driver compliance for the future. But for now, please use the latest Windows 10 HLK, and also please do the manually checkbox 2 checkboxes to submit driver. So that's our driver and then firmware and then deployment scenario, manufacturing and the servicing, and also this is a compat program. So next section, I want to explain how you can test your application or your driver, your firmware on the Windows 10 Actually, the days we plan to release, like I said, we plan to release the Windows 10 build summer this year. So until then, there is an opportunity for you to have real device from some OEM partners which they plan to ship. And also, there's one way to check this using the CI policy check. So code integrity policy itself is not so new. So we have the bunch of the MSDN article which explain what is our code integrity policy and how it works. So basically, we will use this method for the Windows 10 Windows 10 testing. So this is a website which explains in test your Windows application for Windows 10 So like I said, I will give you this slide, so you'll be able to check, but you can just check the doc.microsoft.com and the desktop to UW test Windows application. So this actually describes everything, but I want to show you the demo, how we work. So let's move to the demo system. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so the page, oh, I don't connect my network. That's okay. Okay. No. Yes. So this is a page. Actually, this is a live page. So test your Windows 10 Windows application, Windows app for Windows 10 Desk, and you can utilize this method for your driver and then firmware. So you will be able to check how we work. So basically, there's 3 policies you can apply to Windows 10 Pro system. So if we have a Windows 10 Pro system, you can add in this policy on the Windows 10 Pro system and then pretend this is the Windows 10 system. So this is kind of the emulating the environment, which this is actually Windows 10 Pro system, but it works as a Windows 10 S. So first policy is the audit mode policy only. So maybe it's easy for me to show you the download. So you can download the tool from here. Save as desktop. Yes. Oh. Here. I will extract. And then you will find these 3 PKCS number 7 certificate. So SI policy audit, SI policy dev mode enforced, and then SI policy enforced. So let me change the display. Okay. So there's 3 policy here. So basically, these 3 policy, what they work is a policy. Audit mode policy is just enforcement is a log issued. So event viewer, you will be able to check the CI policy log, and you'll be able to find out that your application, your driver has any error on the CI policy perspective, and you'll be able to check, and your application works well on the CI policy or no. Production mode policy, next one, is enforcement yes. So that's, if you want to try this in a real system, be very careful, because this is really the block you to load the driver or load the application, because this is enforcement, it happened. And then signing certificate only allowed in the store. And third one is a product mode policy with self-sign application, which allow you to check the self-sign application to run on this mode, and you'll be able to check the logs on the event viewer. So today, I want to try this. Actually, this is the Windows 10 Pro system, which we just moved from Windows 10 S. So let's try this audit mode policy here. So to use Windows 10 audit mode policy on the Windows 10 Pro system, so let me double check this is a Windows 10 Pro system. Yes, this is the Windows Pro system. So that's very simple. So you need to actually rename your P7B file as SI policy P7B. So, okay, so I need to rename this, actually remove this audit. Yes. And then you need to copy this file to see Windows System 32 code integrity. So now I can run the CMD. Good. Yes. So we need to copy this file to here and say continue. Yes. Okay. And then restart your system. So I will restart this system. Update? Why is it update? And we worry about this update. I hope it doesn't work well. I love Windows Update. So first I need to make sure. People love Windows Update. But for the demo, so I'm not sure. Let's see how it works. Now it's a OEM logo here. Come on. You can do it. Yes! Whew. That's fun. That's, yeah. Okay. So let's open the event viewer. So you can find the code integrity policy is here. So application and service in log, and then Microsoft, and here there's code integrity policy here, run. Okay, that's our code integrity policy. So you'll be able to see how you work, and then let's try some application run. So for example, I will Adobe Acrobat Reader, which it was blocked in the Windows 10 NES system, but this time, this is because the Windows 10 Pro system, it will work. But code integrity policy is on, but this is just audit mode, which means, sorry, not audit mode. So this is just log file mode, which means that you'll be able to see the log. So let's try this here. And then maybe I can close now. Yeah. Refresh. Yeah, here. So now I see this. I tried to run this Realtek. Sorry, the can't stop there. So I don't want to see this message. Yeah. So now you can see, right? So user tried to run this code, this real Adobe Reader, and then you'll be able to see, hey, this code integrity determine the process, attempt to load this blah, 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 and then that did not meet the enterprise sign-in level requirement, which violated the code integrity policy. So basically, this violated the code integrity policy. But however, due to code integrity auditing policy, now this is auditing, so the image was allowed to load. So this way, you'll be able to check even the Windows 10 Pro system, pretend it works as a CI policy on your system, like a Windows 10 NES, and then you will validate your application or driver and the firmware, it really work well or not. And then you can check the code integrity policy and make sure that you don't have any error message like this, warning message, error message like this, and then you'll be able to good to go for the Windows 10 NES system. That is what we want to ask you to try today. Okay, I want to go back to the slide. Thank you. So like I said, this is the public information, and the tool also you'll be able to download from the public website, MSDN website. So please try. Yeah, I already did the demo. So this page. Last month, we had the event which explained, actually the educational event, which explained in, actually we introduced the Windows 10 NES. And at the same time, we explained this, actually our OEM partner, like Acer, ASUS, Dell, Fujitsu, HP, Samsung, Toshiba, plan to release the Windows 10 NES system. So this is the moment which we have the new Windows system and then new Windows SKU. And this is, we believe this is our new and the future of the Windows, because it will protect additional security layer to protect the user from security perspective, and also the user can enjoy the performance from the first day performance to after 100 days, 200 days, and 300 days. So we want to ask you to join this. So we want to ask you to join this Windows 10 NES from your IHV perspective, ISV perspective, your driver, firmware, application, and your device, OEM device. So we want to see a lot of Windows 10 NES device, which will give the user the choice of how user can feel safe for using the Windows 10. So there's a link for this event. So you can check this event. Actually, there's a video. So from the newsmicrosoft.com. So you'll be able to see what we explain, and you'll be able to understand what is our intent here. And then today's session, my session was to explain to you that what is a Windows 10 and how you can join this. So this is basically the last slide for me. So call to action. So develop your plan to deliver drivers, firmwares, and application for Windows 10 please. So this is actually we encourage every partner want to have the will have the Windows 10 and we want to have a lot of the Windows 10 system. And begin testing now in the Windows 10 Pro with CI policy, which actually I just show you. So testing now on the Windows 10 Pro system with CI policy, or once device is available, please test on the real device too. And like I said, we'll be able to share the Windows 10 build summer this year. And at that time, we'll also be able to share the manufacturing registry key, which you will be able to test the manufacturing process. And then last one is incorporate Windows 10 into your device and hardware portfolio planning, please. So now it's time for you to start thinking about Windows 10 and then incorporate this Windows 10 into your device roadmap, device and hardware portfolio planning. So last slide is a reference, which explained in introducing Windows 10 is kind of a big overview slide. Windows 10 FAQ and Windows 10 driver requirement, which I already explained, but I want to make sure you will read this, and how you can test your Windows application. This slide is a UEFI firmware and getting started with Windows, Universal Windows drivers, which you have the session today, so you will get more information, but there's an MSDN link and Universal driver scenario. That's all. So thank you for today, and I know, actually I'm surprised that there's a storm there, so thank you for coming here for the WinHEC and then spend time with me to about the Windows 10 So I hope we can see a lot of the device and hardware for the Windows 10 near future. Thanks.